Would it help if I can give you some simple words that you could use to ask for more of what you want more often? Be useful, right? Your name, sir, is? Jim. See, if I wanted Jim to consider an idea of mine, but I'm concerned that he might be fearful of rejection, when I present the idea to him, I'm going to position it to the left of him or the right of him, and I'm going to position it to the left of him or the right of him with the words, I'm not sure if it's for you. If I present Jim with an idea prefaced with the words, I'm not sure if it's for you, then what does Jim's little voice do? Take it in full go slow mode. The first thing Jim's little voice does is it says, I will be the judge of that. He takes full personal responsibility that there's a decision that needs to be made, and that decision is mine to make. The second thing that happens is Jim's curiosity is piqued. It's like, what is it? I need to know. We create what's called a curiosity gap. If you're unfamiliar with what a curiosity gap is, it's the same reason that when you decided to watch only one episode of a Netflix show and then realized you were wrong, it's because the writers knew how to create curiosity gaps. Still confused about curiosity gaps? Ever found yourself watching a video on like Facebook that you know is going to deliver zero value to your life? And you're like a minute and 22 seconds in and you're like, that's a lot of elastic bands on a watermelon. It is. It is a lot of elastic bands. I wonder how many it does take until it actually bursts. And you're 6 minutes and 17 seconds in, you're like, what are they doing here? I like it. I kind of like it. What's happening? Is it going to burst, explode, or squish? You're like, hourglass, what's going to happen? And then 12 minutes and 13 seconds go by, and poof, and you're like, okay, back to work. Because people know how to create curiosity gaps. It pulls tension. We need to be pulley and not pushy if we want people to consider ideas. So when I say I'm not sure if it's for you, Jim's voice says, I'll be the judge of that. What is it? But then I'm going to put a 3-letter word on the end of this example, a 3-letter word, the word but. Often people think the word but just negates what was said prior. Like backspace. Not true. I think it was Peter Parker or Uncle Ben that first said, with great power comes great responsibility. Same is true with how we use the word but. What the word but actually does is it simply shifts the focus to next. Shifts the focus to next. So when I say to Jim, I'm not sure if it's for you, but his voice hears, well, I'll be the judge of that. What is it? Can't stop looking at it, can't stop looking at it, can't stop looking at it. How do we use that in the real world? Well, we learn to be pulley and not pushy. As an industry, you keep being invited to being able to make your calls, make your calls, make your calls, make your calls. Who regularly prospects on the telephone calling strangers that they weren't expecting your call, interrupting their day even though they were busy on a Tuesday in the middle of the day and expects it to go well? This whole industry is doing it on repeat. It blows my mind. You're just checking in. You're like, why? Why? Well, I want to see if there's anything I can do to help. No, leave me alone. Stop calling people. They don't like it. It's 2025, not 1986. We can do better. Do you know that you cannot call me on the telephone? Period. Straight to voicemail, straight to voicemail, straight to voicemail. I'm permanently in do not disturb. Even my mother cannot call me. What does she have to do? Text first. So could you send simple text messages like, hey, I'm not sure if it's for you, but something new's just come to the market, thought it might be a good fit for you. Hey, I'm not sure if it's for you, but I've just come back from a conference, got some ideas I'd love to share with you about how we can level things up. Hey, I'm not sure if it's for you, but I've got some ideas as to how you might be able to do something creative that can get you into your next home. You have to leave a curiosity gap, and I promise you, if you text that and don't call it, then you'll be pulley. People will say, tell me some more about that. And when they say, tell me some more about that, you're like, I'm good from here. Thanks for the invitation. Easy to do? Easy not to do? Who's an early person to appointments? Raise your hands if you're an early person. Keep your hands raised because I want all the people that don't have their hands raised right now, I want us to all look at you. And those of us that have our hands raised, I need you to know that we hate you. Now, if you are an early person, when you have those pockets of time before you step into an appointment, could you simply send a few flirty, I'm not sure if it's for you, but text messages to people in your phone, go in, crush your appointment, come out your appointment and be like ball in play? And then have more people to have more meaningful conversations to step into? See, we misinterpret prospecting as calling strangers that weren't expecting our calls to help them with something they didn't need. When what we could be doing is have one-on-one at scale, micro-targeted interactions that like, how about? and we can build on this too, is who in this room sees themselves as open-minded? Somewhere like most of you, right? Because what's the alternative? Idiot. Most of us like to see ourselves as open-minded. It's another rejection-free opening formula. You want people to consider an idea, just preface it with a question, how open-minded would you be, and see how much more accepting they are. I mean, how open-minded would you be to increasing your budget a little? I mean, how open-minded would you be to finding a little more for a down payment? How open-minded would you be to considering an alternative area? How open-minded would you be to taking on some remodeling? I mean, how open-minded would you be to new construction? I mean, how open-minded would you be to understanding the real difference between us and somebody else? How open-minded would you be to learning why we charge that little bit extra? How open-minded would you be to understanding what's really happening in the economy? Easy to do? Easy not to do? I got like 10 minutes up here still, and I'm hoping that this is useful, so we're gonna like sprint till the finish line. Are you up for sprinting? You're gonna give me your best energy? Awesome. So that means that I can kind of introduce you to the secret to influence. How you get just about anybody to do just about anything. The secret to influence lies in our knowledge and understanding of this here one word. One of the most overused words in the world of business because people do not understand what the word means. We understand what the word means when we look into its etymology. See, the word splits right there. The first part of the word comes from the Latin word motivus. Modern day translation is the word motive. The Asian part of the word comes from the word that we know as action. If you want to get anybody to do anything, you need to understand their motivation. What the word motivation really means is this. Would it be fair to say that if the reason was big enough, you could get just about anybody to do just about anything? If the reason was big enough. Now, whose reason matters more, yours or theirs? That's the secret to influence. Whatever you're looking to get anybody to do, all you need to do is to find their reason to move. It is that easy and it's that hard, and in this industry, it's kind of literal. Couldn't be more literal, right? Couldn't be more literal. And you know that. There are only 3 reasons anybody moves to do anything: to run towards something that's going to make them more comfortable, or run away from something that's making them uncomfortable, or just to do something that lights them up inside. That's all we've got. So knowing that in theory is one thing, but what about doing something with it in practice? If you want to move people in practice, sometimes what we need is words. See, if I wanted somebody to see something they haven't yet seen and use that as motivation to be able to get them to do something, I have to understand a little bit of basic brain science. Did you know that every decision that every human being has ever made has been made at least twice? Every decision every human being has ever made has been made at least twice. We first make our decisions in our mind's eye, hypothetically. Ever said the words to yourself that I cannot see myself doing that? It's a literal thing. If you cannot see yourself doing something, the likelihood of you choosing to do it is slim to none. Therefore, if we can get somebody to see themselves taking an action before they do it, chance of them doing it significantly higher. What else here? When it comes to making decisions, our reference point is our memory. Our memory is like the world's biggest Instagram account. There are a gazillion photographs up here. We reference these photographs in order to be able to make decisions. Photographs got there for one of 2 reasons: either an experience we lived through, or an experience that was shared with us, typically in the form of a story. Because a story will always sell, whereas the fact will only tell, because stories create photographs in our minds that we then recall as memories. There's a lot of big brain science in a short period of time. One more piece of brain science is there's a point in time that we learn quickest in our lives. Scientists cannot agree on date range. They all agree it's when we are children. As children, we learn quicker. Let's tie this all together. The secret to influence is to find their reason to move. There are only 3 reasons anybody moves to do anything: to run towards something, to run away from something, or to light them up inside. When it comes to getting somebody to do something, they first have to see themselves doing something before they're invited to do it. And then they're going to reference their memory. Their memory is a catalog of images that got there from stories that were shared with them or experiences that were then shared with, that they lived through. And we learn quickest when we are kids. Got it? How did a child know a story was coming? What were the magic words? Once upon a time. You say the words once upon a time to a kid, they say, gimme, 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 this is going to be good. You cannot use the words once upon a time with a grown-up and get the same results. You can, though, use the grown-up version of the exact same words that are the words, just imagine. Now we can insert pictures, but what pictures do we insert? Something we know they want to run towards. I mean, just imagine having enough space that every one of your kids has their own bedroom finally. Something they want to run away from. I mean, just imagine being stuck in a house and having to endure this commute for the next decade. Or something they might want to run towards, and it's like, hey, just imagine the connections you're going to be able to create with your wider family unit once you've got an environment that's really conducive to happiness. Now, here I am making up these examples for you on the spot. When is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? In the moment you're saying it. Could you give a little more thoughtful thought to the opportunities you're stepping into and think, what might they want to run towards? What might they want to run away from? What might make their heart sing? The answer to that question is yes. This requires emotional intelligence. Do you have it? Yes. Do you use it? Not often enough. So a second ago, right, I moved people through time in their mind's eye with the words, just imagine. What if I can move them through time in their heart's eye, getting them to feel something they haven't yet felt? Because people make decisions on emotion before logic. If I want somebody to feel something they haven't yet felt, then I create what's called a future conditional feeling, which are the words, how would you feel if? I mean, how would you feel if you actually had enough space for every one of your kids to be able to have a room of their own? I mean, how would you feel if you're a decade on from now and you're still living in a house that you hate and having to endure that commute? And how would you feel if that you could be living in a house that would allow you to create the kind of memories that were really important for you as a father and for the family unit at large? How would you feel if that was true? Easy to do this stuff? Makes us pulley and not pushy, but it's about having a practice. It's about being prepared. You should be realizing that I'm talking about the power of questions. Questions are a superpower in this industry because questions create conversations. Conversations lead to relationships. Relationships create opportunities. Opportunities drive sales. I know that you want more opportunities and more sales. What do you need to do if you want more opportunities and more sales? You need to ask more questions. But you have to not just ask questions, you have to skillfully ask questions and then do what when they answer the question? You go, listen. Probably the most underrated skill in this profession at large is your ability to listen. So much push, 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 social media push, push, push. We're not even listening. But let's take a look at the word together because this word blows my mind. Let's take a look. Look, it has an L, an I, an S, a T, an E, and an N in it. And then here's another word that has an L, an I, an S, and a T, and an E, and an N in it. Coincidence? Yes. But it makes one heck of a point, right? See, so many people in your businesses are costing you money because they're so fearful of being salesy that they are sales prevention officers. They are over-communicating. We're in a value-driven marketplace right now, and the thing that we all have to do better than anybody else in the world is this. This is really a giant part of our job descriptions today, is to give people enough information to make a decision. Enough information to make a decision. Yet how much information is enough? Depends. It depends. It's a trick question, really. I think the answer was perhaps put best, like not everybody needs the same amount of information. My grandma once said to me, she said, Phil, if everybody thought in the exact same way, then wouldn't the whole world like to marry your granddad? We all need different information.